Listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see attraction forever. Most men go through life completely blind to the hidden signals women send every single day. Signals of desire, of craving, of raw attraction they're desperately trying to conceal. And right now, you're missing them. You're letting opportunity after opportunity slip through your fingers because you've been conditioned to look for the wrong things. You've been waiting for some grand declaration, some obvious sign, but real desire doesn't work that way. It whispers. It lingers in the space between words. It hides in plain sight, screaming at you in a language you've never been taught to understand. But today, that changes. Today, you'll learn the truth about the 4 undeniable signs a woman is secretly craving you. Signs so subtle, so perfectly disguised that 99% of men will miss them entirely. These aren't guesses. These aren't pickup artist tricks. These are the psychological patterns of female attraction, backed by science, proven by results, and waiting right now for you to finally see them. By the time this video ends, you'll never look at a woman's body language the same way again. You'll recognize the hunger in her eyes, the intention behind her touch, the silent plea buried in her laughter. And most importantly, you'll know exactly what to do about it. So lean in, pay attention, because everything you thought you knew about attraction is wrong. And what comes next will shock you. Let's talk about something fundamental, something that once you see it, where the world seems to slow down for just a second. That's real, not just in your imagination. Her desire is showing through the gaps in her self-control. Furthermore, how does she recall things? Weeks later, she brings it up as if it were nothing at all after you mentioned a minor detail, a favorite movie, a recollection from your early years, or a random information that interests you. But the human brain is designed to give priority to the things that are important to it. She also files away small bits of you. When she uses them later to connect, that's not just good listening. That's investment. That's her mind holding on to you because you matter more than she's willing to admit out loud. Now here's the problem. Most men don't see these signs for what they are. They write them off as randomness, friendliness, or pointless eccentricities. And as a result, they pass up the chances that are in front of them. They believe that attraction must be loud, evident, and accompanied by a big announcement. However, genuine desire isn't often obvious. There are times when it whispers, but you won't hear it if you're not paying attention. An arm lingering just a second too long. That's not an accident, that's a test. She's seeing how you react. Does your body language open up? Do you lean into it, or do you freeze, pull away, miss the cue entirely? Every one of these moments is a silent question. Do you feel this too? And if you don't respond, she'll assume the answer is no. Then there's eye contact. The eyes are the most honest part of the human body. You can fake a smile, you can force a laugh, but the eyes, they betray the truth. When a woman holds your gaze just a fraction longer than normal, when she looks away but keeps finding her way back to you, that's not politeness, that's intensity. Even though she doesn't express it in person, that is her subconscious pulling her to you. And it's not your imagination if you've ever experienced that electric moment where the air between you crackles and everything seems to slow down for a brief minute. Her desire is showing through the gaps in her self-control. The reason for this subtlety lies in the fundamental asymmetry of social risk. For a woman, openly expressing desire has historically carried far greater consequences than it does for a man. Rejection isn't just an emotional blow. It can reshape her social standing, her reputation, even her sense of safety. So she adapts. She communicates in layers, in hints, in what isn't said outright. But make no mistake, that doesn't make her attraction any less real. It just makes it strategic. Take the phenomenon of jealousy. It's not casual curiosity when a woman nervously tenses up when you bring up another woman, when her tone changes slightly from warm to clipped, or when she jokingly asks about the person you've been hanging out with. That is the defining characteristic of possessiveness. Furthermore, possessiveness stems from a fear of losing something that she values, not from a lack of interest. Then there's the way she mirrors you. Mirroring is one of the most reliable indicators of subconscious attraction. When she starts adopting your speech patterns, your gestures, even your opinions, that's not coincidence. It's connection. The human brain is wired to sync up with people it feels drawn to. It's why couples who've been together for years start to look alike. Why close friends finish each other's sentences. When she unconsciously mimics the way you lean in, the rhythm of your laughter, the phrases you use, she's signaling alignment. She's trying to bridge the gap between you without having to spell it out. And what about the stories she tells? Pay attention to how she frames her past, her vulnerabilities, her ambitions when she's around you. If she's sharing more than she would with just anyone, if she's letting you see behind the curtain, that's not just conversation, it's trust. Women don't open up to men they see as transient. They open up to men they're testing for permanence. Every personal detail, every moment of emotional exposure is a quiet invitation. Can you handle this? Do you want to? Now, here's where most men fail. They either miss these signals entirely, or, they see them but hesitate. They second guess, they wait for more obvious signs, they convince themselves they're just imagining things. And in that hesitation, the moment passes. Because attraction isn't static, it's a current. If you don't step into it, it moves on. So what's the solution? First, trust your perception. If you sense something beneath her words, you're probably right. Second, respond proportionally. You don't have to declare your feelings or make some grand gesture. Just meet her where she is. If she's testing the waters with touch, reciprocate subtly. If she's sharing something personal, match her vulnerability. If she's showing jealousy, acknowledge it without accusation. You seem a little bothered by that. Should I be flattered? The goal isn't to call her out, but to validate what she's too cautious to say outright. And finally, recognize the power dynamic at play. When a woman hides her attraction, she's not just protecting herself, she's also testing you. The critical insight here is that timing matters more than perfection. You only must actually carry out it well enough to show that you're aware of the dynamics between you. A perfect reaction that is delayed can never be as effective as a mediocre one that is timely. Attraction has a timeline, which is, honestly, an uncomfortable reality that most men are just unwilling to face. If a woman gives emotional energy and gets no return, her subconscious calculates ruthlessly, this isn't worth my investment. It's really about self-preservation, not being petty or playing games. If she isn't meeting someone halfway, then, well, why would she keep focusing her emotional energy on them? The transition from interest to indifference, it happens gradually and then all at once. One day she's laughing at your jokes and finding reasons to be near you. The next, she's polite but distant. And men who miss this shift often make their second fatal error. They suddenly realize what they're losing and come on too strong, too late. This only confirms her growing suspicion that you lack the emotional intelligence to read the room. Here's the hard truth. Women don't lose interest because they're fickle. They lose interest because they're perceptive. They recognize when something just isn't going anywhere. And once that realization crystallizes, it's extraordinarily difficult to reverse. The window doesn't just close, it locks. So where does this leave you? With a simple but profound choice. To become the kind of man who recognizes opportunity and acts on it. Not recklessly, but with the quiet confidence of someone who understands that, yeah, timing is everything. The next time you sense that spark, that unspoken connection, ask yourself one question. If not now, when? Because in the economy of attraction, hesitation is the most expensive currency. And only you can decide how much you're willing to pay.